Hi everyone. Well, I came across this and I wasn't really looking for it, but since it had crossed my mind, when I saw the title, I realized that this is what's going on. Look at this. More news is being written by robots than you think. So I sensed that the other day. I was reading something and the grammar was just a little bit off, like subject-verb agreement wasn't quite right. And so it crossed my mind that it might be some kind of a program writing it. And I feel so behind the times because this has been going on for a long time. Actually started in maybe 2009. So these simple stories they're even having consultations with real journalists and like sports writers. Okay, let me just read this to you because it is really fascinating. Software is writing news stories with increasing frequency. In a recent example, an LA Times writer bot wrote and posted a snippet about an earthquake 3 minutes after the event. The LA Times claims they were first to publish anything on the quake, and outside the USGS, they probably were. The LA Times example isn't special because it's the first algorithm to write a story on a major news site. With the help of Chicago startup and robot writing firm Narrative Science, algorithms have basically been passing the Turing test online for the last few years. So this is what I think is happening with YouTube and the massive uploads of videos. It's an algorithm they've designed, and that's how they're doing it. This is possible because some kinds of reporting are formulaic. You take a publicly available source, crunch it down to the highlights, and translate it for readers using a few boilerplate connectors. Hopefully this makes it more digestible. So they can sound like real people writing, but they're just not. Isn't that crazy? Indeed, Christian Hammond, co-founder and CTO of Narrative Science, thinks some 90% of the news could be written by computers by 2030. Okay, this guy also, Chris Hammond, he says that a robot will win the Pulitzer Prize in the future. And also on another site, Narrative Science has gotten a lot of interest and I think money from the CIA, also Google. Continuing, I imagine the computer populating a Venn diagram. In one circle it adds hard data, earnings, sports stats, earthquake readings. In another, a selection of journalistic cliches, and where the two intersect, an article is born. Okay, there's the Venn diagram. In truth, it's a little more complicated than that. In engineering their software, Narrative worked with trained journalists to help the software determine an angle. For example, in the case of sports, the algorithm answers key questions like who won the game, by how much, was it a comeback or a blowout, any heroics or notable stats. So this is just the way it is. So an article about an earthquake can come out way before any journalists are on it. Ken Schwenk, the journalist who created the algorithm, was awoken by the quake, rolled out of bed, found the article awaiting his approval, and simply hit publish. Oh my gosh, this is incredible. Alright, so here's some Narrative Science competitors. I looked those up, and let's see, robot journalists will snag Pulitzer by 2016. He says the CIA takes an interest in Narrative Science. So do you see what I mean about all the uploads, the new channels, the massive uploads in seconds? This is simply an algorithm. And also, in case you don't know it, have you ever heard of something called Robo-Earth? This is where robots, okay, let's look at this right here. This is where robots teach each other. They have a Wikipedia for robots, a World Wide Web for robots, and one robot can upload his or her or its information to a cloud, and another robot can access it and learn from that cloud information. So they did a demonstration where one robot, he I don't know why I say he, uploaded info about how to get juice and serve it to a patient, and the other robot accessed the information and learned it, got the juice, and started to take it to the patient but dropped it on the way. Well, they're learning. So there's some information here on Kurzweil on his website. See, Robo-Earth simply lets robots learn new tasks and situations from each other. So maybe, I wonder if they're going to get robots who want to read the robot writing. Wikipedia for robots. Okay, so that's the answer to the Yahoo uploads, in my opinion. Thank you for watching. Goodbye. God bless. Have a beautiful day or night or whatever. And may the true truth visit you in your spirit. Bye for now.